It was funny. I saw a video the other day when I was kind of stuck in learning about New Gearland. It's fun to be there, but you shouldn't really have your view stuck on too far ahead because it won't make you happy here. You can do both. You can have like a goal further on and still gotta be here. Because these suckers I've been listening to Off the Wall by Michael Jackson on. I mean, of course, a big thing on why they sound so good is, of course, the dynamic precisions amp that I inherited from Dad, and also the Cambridge audio amp that I got from my friend Niklas. And I mean, I saw this video on downgrading, and we had this guy who had these amazing speakers, and he was going to downgrade to some Klipsch. I don't know what the reason was for that. Maybe it was just the volume, because Klipsch can go on lower volumes. I've also been thinking in those lines, just to keep the neighbors happier. But for now, I'm just switching between B5s and these Grado PS500E headphones, who are great. But I think there still is a distinction, between speaker and headphone. It's a different feel with speaker, especially if you have this kind of awesome amp with them. So sure, I mean, and I also figured out that kind of what makes the Grados unique is just to let them be Grados, and if you want them to be tweaked into being more like Dre headphones or have more punchy bass, you just have to have some EQ, like here on your Cambridge audio stage. You can just put that on and you will get a punchier sound in your headphones if you want to listen to something more punchy, because these are really airy, and I really appreciate that. But with some tracks you really want that bass punch. You can just put some treble and bass on that, on the Cambridge. This is an Azure. It's actually a really nice stage. I think it sounds a tad better with headphones than my V-Can, which is also good, but it took a while to understand its greatness while I bought it. At first I just thought it sounded better directly from the Mac to the headphones than from the Can to the Cambridge. So, too much zooming in and out. I have a diagnosis. I have a hard time just letting things be at times. And that's okay though. I have to say that at first, when my Q9s broke, and I had just gone from, I was on an upgrade spin. I had bought these ELACs, and then I bought some Q15s, and I just really loved the clarity in the Q15s, and I kind of started to think too much about how much more the treble was superior in those. But if you look at these have great bass, and they have decent treble as well, just not as good as the Q15s. But still, then I got some Q9s, and then they had great bass and treble, and it was just like my perfect fit. I really loved those. But then one of them broke, and at the same time I had some complaints from some neighbors because I was playing all day on loud volume, and I didn't realize it because I hadn't had a stereo like this and when living in an apartment before, so I didn't realize that I was just pissing this one neighbor or two neighbors off playing too loud. So then I went only headphones for a long while, and then I went back to just trying some playing a little less long and not as late at night. So I haven't had any complaints yet again. So but I really started to go like, oh, I gotta like do the best of the gear that I have, because I have a great amp and I have great headphones, and I have very good step one speakers. I mean, compared, if you compare back, these speakers for this price are these are really good speakers, and if you have this good of an amp, it's really gonna show how great the bass and mid range are on these. And I just kind of got some peace, and just I've been focusing more on like enjoying what I have, which is a good life philosophy actually. Instead of wanting some bird to be a whale, you can like accept that the bird is a bird, and if you want to tweak the bird into like a big bird, you can go on, just go put some extra treble on it, and just give them some extra treble punch here, just for what they are lacking, just as when you would do when you would put some extra bass when listening to the headphones, like to get an extra punch. So I mean, appreciate things for what they are, but be aware that you can tweak them, just with some of these hints, and then you can upgrade later and get exactly what you want. But either way, it's the contrast of changing up gear that gives you the biggest kick, I think. Because if you always have the same gear, you can, of course, change it up with different kinds of music and different kinds of pressings and stuff. But as long as you are comparing, it's only gonna matter to you like for a while, because then even if you have like the best setup, you're gonna find something to complain about with that, and that is just being privileged. You get to complain about that. So it's much better to just go like, okay, I'm gonna go a few days without music, and then I'm just gonna put on my rig and be like, oh shit, I got this great rig. It's better to complicate life a little bit and then put it back to what it was, so you can appreciate it again. That is kind of how your brain works. I think it's been a journey for me with that in life as well at work, because I've been discontent, and talking about what I don't have, instead of like being appreciative of what I do have. And now that I've like, today I had my son, I had to go a little earlier from work to pick him up, and that would normally have made me pissed, but and it did now as well in a bit, but I just thought, okay, I can deal with this feeling of being pissed, and I can just carry on, and I can plow through and do just what I need to do, and be like appreciative of that I got to hang out with my son today a bit longer than usual, which is basically what I wanted. So just getting over the laziness of it all and trying harder and making your life more worthwhile from trying harder.